When it comes to playing PSP games on the Vita and PlayStation TV, one of my favorite features to use is the right analog feature. This lets you redirect various buttons to the right analog stick to incorporate dual analog play during PSP games. One such genre that really shines with this feature is the twin stick shooter genre. The PSP had some twin stick shooters even though it didn't have dual analog sticks. That's what we're going to talk about today. Even though there is a Vita game for this series, here is my official retro review of Super Stardust Portable. Super Stardust Portable is a handheld port of the PS3 title Super Stardust HD. For its genre, it is a twin-stick shooter with defense elements thrown into the mix. First thing to note is that this is essentially a handheld port of Super Stardust HD. The game you're playing is essentially the same game, but with some minor adjustments and tweaks that I'll explain later. There are 3 game modes you can go through without the DLC packs involved. There is Arcade, Planet Mode, and Impact. When you're in Arcade mode, it is a simple campaign mode. You have various planets you can explore, and you go through each planet's stages in succession. You go through the first planet stages, fight the first planet's boss, then go on to the second planet, then the third planet, and so on and so forth. Arcade mode is also the only place you can unlock the later planets for use in other game modes. Now, aside from arcade mode, there is planet mode, where you can just go and do one planet and not have to worry about immediately going to another planet. There is also impact mode. Impact mode is a little bit different because all of the conventional weapons are taken away from you. All you have are the boost and bomb mechanics, so you have to pay a little more attention to what you're doing, especially with dodging attacks. The other game modes are there as well. The PS3 had a DLC pack that added a few more game modes. The PSP also has this DLC pack. The only downside of this is that the PSP version didn't get some of the DLC game modes. There was never any reason for why it didn't, it just didn't. When you're going through arcade mode or planet mode, each planet has 4 stages and a boss stage. In each stage, you will have various obstacles and enemies coming at you that you'll have to defend the planet from. These can be asteroids, space stations, alien spaceships, etc, etc, etc. You're flying your spaceship around with the goal of fighting and defeating all of these objects and enemies. As you defeat objects and enemies, your score goes up, and eventually a little space station type object will appear that you can destroy to end the stage. As you destroy these obstacles, you not only get points added to your high score, but you can also get weapon drops. You have a few different kinds of weapons, as well as a boost to go through enemies and bombs to defeat all the enemies around you. The 3 other weapons that incorporate your ship's gun can be enhanced upon. At the beginning of the game, they're not going to be very useful at all. But as you fight glowing objects, you can pick up and increase the percentage of how powerful each weapon is. As the weapons get more powerful, you'll have new attacks as well as more damage output. When you go into a boss fight, things are a little bit different. Things are pretty chaotic when you're out in the middle of the stages, when you have a million asteroids falling around you as well as a few alien ships. Bosses are chaotic, but not as chaotic. In a boss stage, you're mostly just focusing on the boss and that's it. The boss also has various attack patterns that you'll have to learn in order to fight it correctly. As I said earlier, there is one game mode from the PS3 version that was removed for the PSP release. This isn't all they removed. The multiplayer features were also removed in the PSP version. You still have online leaderboards you can upload scores to, but you don't have any way of playing multiplayer. Controls are good, but they're also bad. The PSP version, when it first released, noted 2 major problems with the controls. The first is the fact that this is twin stick gameplay without 2 analog sticks, and the second is the fact that you couldn't change your weapons while you're moving. The latter part is still there. No matter what control scheme you do, you will have to stop moving to be able to change your weapons, which really is inconvenient when you're going through an intense stage. The dual analog controls are fixed with the Vita and the PlayStation TV though. The main control scheme for shooting was done with the face button, so you can easily redirect these to the right analog stick. As far as the presentation is concerned, everything is good. The visual presentation looks really nice. There are a few jagged edges to see, but when you're in the middle of gameplay, you're not even going to notice them. Another thing I'll note is that the audio during the game is some of the best music I've heard in any PSP game to date, especially among indie games. Super Stardust Portable was the first Super Stardust game to go to the handheld market and is currently the only way you can download and play a Super Stardust game on the PlayStation TV. Now, there are some downsides to it. The control scheme still makes it hard to change weapons and move at the same time. There's still a lack of multiplayer, and there's less game modes than any other version of Super Stardust out there. However, it did vastly improve the dual analog stick feel of the game, and if you're a PSTV owner and want to play Super Stardust, this definitely isn't a bad choice. I rate Super Stardust Portable a 7 out of 10. If you would like to comment on this further, feel free to below or head to my site.